So one of our first themes we identified is this idea of it's challenging to be chief, right? When we looked at the data, it was interesting to see that chief compliance officers have historically focused in those areas that have been challenges that they needed to address sort of short term. I'm Sally Bernstein, a principal with PwC. Things like foreign corrupt practices, fraud, ethics and compliance, but they haven't yet really branched out into those other business areas.
Right. They've done a very good job handling those particular areas. I'm Andrea Falcione, a managing director at PwC. But oftentimes I think that's lost upon the business. And so, the business thinks to itself, well, okay, what does this mean for me? So I think the challenge for compliance officers is to take it to the next level.
And if you think about what does chief mean, right? We have to look at some of their peers, chief financial officer, chief information officer. The chief compliance officer is today where those roles were maybe 10 years ago. This role is not that old, right? It's really maybe 10 years, and now they're really to this point where they've addressed some of these short-term issues, and now they're looking to really evolve into that real chief role.
Right, exactly. A couple things in terms of integration with the business, where becoming a true chief is understanding compliance, in this case, across the organization, not just within the centralized function. And there's a few things that we've found as a result of the survey that could be helpful. One is compliance committees and what organizations are doing with compliance committees. Another thing that we found from the survey is thinking about the makeup of the compliance function itself. So historically, we have seen pretty homogeneous groups actually made up of a lot of lawyers and compliance professionals, extremely important skill sets, but there are others as well.
Yeah, it's interesting too, right? If we think about those organizations, those sort of heavily regulated who are quite mature, those staffing is quite large, right? They have more than 25 people quite a bit at the time, versus our less regulated, less heavily regulated, having 3 to 5 people. That diversity becomes a little bit more challenging, but our goal here is really future state. Where are you going? How are you going to be effective in that future state? How are you going to think to the future of those opportunities? And starting to think about this diversity of skill sets is going to be key.
Absolutely, particularly data analysis, right? And being able to figure out what big data within your organization means. Other business acumen, for example. So a way to make the business comfortable, have some folks in the compliance team who can speak their language.